Hi, my name's Chris. I work for the London Borough of Camden as a developer, and today I'm going to explain to you how we've used Alfresco to put our council and democracy information online on the council's website. The council and democracy section of the website is designed to allow members of the public to access all kinds of information about the decision-making process within Camden and also the people that represent them on the council. So we start from the main website homepage. We can go through to the council and democracy section of the site. This area of the site is focused on publishing information to do with how decisions are made in Camden, who makes those decisions, and as a member of the public, how you can actually access information relating to those decisions. We're going to start off by having a look at the decision-making process in Camden. This is how decisions are made in Camden and generally centres around committee meetings, decisions that are made by those committees, and also documentation that is associated with the committees. So I click through to decision-making in Camden. As a member of the public, I can get an upcoming list of the council meetings that are occurring in the near future. This shows me a list of the meetings that are coming up, along with the dates that they're happening on. We can also have a look at the committee meetings that are happening in Camden via an A to Z list. For example, if we take the executive committee, we can click through and we can see information about the councillors that are actually serving on that committee, along with their political affiliations and also the role that they play on that committee. If we look further down the page, we can also see there's a facility here to search for committee documents that are associated with this particular committee. So if I want to find out about committee meeting dates for the executive in the last year, I can use the search. And this will return me a list of dates on which this committee meets. And if I click through to one of those dates, I can actually get a listing of the documents that are available for that committee on that particular date. Camden has an obligation to provide this information online in a form that is accessible to all members of the public. So if as a member of the public I want to view one of the reports that was discussed at that meeting, I can click through, and this will actually load up the report in PDF format, which is how we publish the reports on the website. So if we go back to the overview of the executive committee, we can see that we've got a list of all of the committee members there. If I want to find out more information about a particular committee member, a councillor, in this case, Councillor Naylor, I just click through. And this takes me to a page that gives me information about the councillor, the ward that they represent within Camden, their political party, and I can also get information about how I can arrange to go and see the councillor or contact them. There's a list of councillor surgery times down the right-hand side of the page. There's also contact information for the councillor, along with a list of their committee memberships. So here we can see that the executive committee that we've just looked at is a committee that Councillor Naylor belonged to. If I'm interested in any declarations of interest that the councillor has made or entries in their hospitality register, I can click through to either one of these links to show that information. Interested in information about the local ward area that I happen to live in or have an interest in, I can click through to the ward link, which in the case of Councillor Naylor is Camden Town with Primrose Hill. And here this will give me information not only about Councillor Naylor, but any other councillors that are elected to represent residents and people that live in the borough. So now we've had a look at how the information in the Council and Democracy section of the website is presented to the members of the public. Let's have a look at how all this is managed behind the scenes in Alfresco. So we log into the Alfresco repository. The Alfresco repository is used by Camden's Democratic Services team to manage the information that we've seen on the website. So information about the councillors, the committee meetings, and also the areas, the wards that the councillors represent. What I'm going to show you here is how we go about getting information from the Democratic Services team, that could be documents or information about committee meeting dates, how that information is put into the Alfresco system and then converted into a form that we can use to generate the information that we've seen on the website. To make things easier for the Democratic Services team, we've used the SIFS drive mapping feature of Alfresco to expose what looks to them like shared drive folders on their local PCs that they can use for uploading documents into the system. I'll just show you how that's structured. In the Alfresco repository, we've created a group of folders, the committee documents drop folder area, that represent the targets for people to upload documents into the system. So as a member of the Democratic Services team, I would actually see this committee documents drop folder mapped as a network share drive, and the folders underneath it, each one represents a different committee. Those would just appear as subfolders to the end users underneath the main drive mapping route. The process is very simple for them to upload documents to the system. Most of their work is done using Microsoft Word documents and other Office documents. Once they're ready to publish the documents, they just need to drag them into the appropriate committee drop folder, and that's it as far as they're concerned. The Alfresco will then use the date information in the document name and the location that they've dropped the document to decide where the document needs to be published to. So if we take the example of the executive committee, that's a subcommittee of council. So once they've dropped the document into this folder, Alfresco will use the date information in the document name to convert the document to a PDF, and will store it in the appropriate area of the Alfresco repository. Once the document has been uploaded to the system, the users can then go via the main My Alfresco control panel to the committee they've just uploaded the document to. In this case it was the executive, and that allows them to view the home space in Alfresco for the executive committee. And what we have here is just a view on the home space that shows for each meeting date for the executive committee which documents have been uploaded for that particular date. So for example, if we go through to this date here, you can see there's a collection of PDFs there that represent the information that needs to be published for the executive committee on that particular date. And these PDFs will be shown in the front end of the website and can be accessed by members of the public. If there's a problem with any of the documents, you can just use the standard Alfresco management tools to remove the document from the system, and that will automatically remove it from the front end website. In the same way that you can manage information to do with documents for a particular committee, you can also use the Alfresco control panel to view appointment information that relates to a particular committee. So this view here allows officers from Democratic Services to basically manage the calendar for a particular committee. So at the moment we're looking at January. You can see that there's a committee meeting date on the 27th. We've got the option to view this as a month view, a week view, or an individual day view, and there's also a form here for entering new meeting dates and meeting information into the system. Once an officer has entered the information relating to a particular committee on a particular date, that information then becomes available on the website almost immediately. But in the same way that we can use Alfresco to manage information about the committees themselves, we can also use it to manage information about the councillors that we hold in the system. So when we looked at the website, we were looking at Chris Naylor, for example. You can see here that we've got information about his political party and also the ward that he represents. We've also got the option to edit his details, to modify his register of interests and any hospitality items that he's declared. So in the same way as we have a calendar for the committees, each of the councils also has their own private calendar which can be used to manage appointments. If we look at the hospitality register for Councillor Naylor, you can see here that he doesn't actually have any items declared, but we could add new items just using a very simple form. So if we go back to the main councillor control panel and choose another councillor, Councillor Moffat, we can have a look at his hospitality items in the same way. You see that he has actually got several declared, and we can use the standard Alfresco method for interacting with content items to manage those, to edit them or delete them. Or we can add new items using the simple form here.